Hi, welcome in. Weather Impact Live, a little special edition here, 11 o'clock. So we got a little breaking tropical news for you, Robert.
Yeah, we have a now tropical storm Dolly out here in the Atlantic. No surprises here. We've been watching this one for a few days now. It had a high chance of tropical development.
Yep. Now
just named from the National Hurricane Center.
And so let's go through what you see here in our forecast cone. And one of the first takeaways I have, a very tight cone.
Yes.
So a lot of consensus in guidance. That builds confidence in us and when we're making our forecasts and what we think when we're talking about local impacts. One of the other things I take away is not any forecast strengthening beyond tropical storm level. If you look at the icons, those are all tropical storm icons until you get to about Saturday night, where there's extratropical low, depression and or an extratropical low forecast to develop. That would be a downgraded system as we get into Saturday. So a weekend survival of this storm does not seem likely with current guidance, current forecast, and that's some beneficial news to take away. So my two kind of main takeaways there, Robert, as you kind of talk about timing with all of this, and its current location still a long way away, and timing and impacts with maybe the Lesser Antilles and some of those Caribbean islands.
And of course, everybody's going to ask, and I'm already seeing these questions. Well, is there a chance it could become like?
Right.
The good news is that there is confidence with all the different guidances. And not only that, we can literally look via satellite out ahead of this storm, and we see a lot of vertical wind shear. You actually can even see on this image right here, if you know where to look, just north of where of Puerto Rico, there's kind of a little upper level low in there. There's just a lot of wind shear that is out ahead of it that is going to disrupt it. Zooming in on it, though, right now here, this is very much a tropical storm. It has organized in the last 24 hours as expected. If it sat in this same area of the Atlantic and it didn't move out of it, I think it could get stronger.
Sure.
But that's not what's happening. The atmosphere is fluid and it's continuing to move west. But right now it is somewhat organized. It has that good circulation. Actually, you can see some decent outflow off towards the north. It's moving over warmer sea surface temperatures. But it is not going to stay here, and it is going to move into that area more hostile for development with it. But with that said, here, Lou, if I was out here in Puerto Rico and I had beach plans on Sunday, probably not going to be the best beach day.
You're looking at rain and wind, Puerto Rico and some of those northern islands of the Lesser Antilles before getting caught up in the Greater Antilles Islands, the other islands of the Caribbean towards Puerto Rico and perhaps the Hispaniola nations. And with spaghetti models, if you look at these just on the surface, you'd say, oh my God, this still shows potential for a movement towards the southeastern United States. While it does show potential for a low pressure center, so what those are tracking, they're not forecasting intensity. What they're forecasting is an area of low pressure. So there could still be a center of low pressure making its move over Haiti and Dominican and dealing with the Plinko game of the mountains of those islands and then into the Bahamas, but really doesn't have much of a chance of holding its life together and strengthening, which would be our main concern. You saw the previous model runs, the main global models indicating kind of that weakening, that opening of the low there with your isobars. That was your GFSN Euro. Let's take a look, Robert, and walk us through kind of what you have shadow boxed there with the European model.
Well, and just kind of showing exactly what you were getting off there is that, those low-level centers being picked up by the spaghetti plots, but I think a lot of times people do get hung up on those.
Yes.
Because you're right, it doesn't tell the whole story, and the whole story is that this is going to be relatively weak. So don't get hung up at those spaghetti plots. Don't think that means a cone and a big old hurricane's coming towards you. This right here we kind of have circled and highlighted, just showing that, it could move over Puerto Rico and as some of those Greater Antilles, but The thing is, it's like this would be a tropical wave. Not to discount thunderstorms and showers or anything like that, but you don't see any of those tight isobars. I was just showing you the comparison, GFS and the European. It's not wrapped up. It just continued to encounter that vertical wind shear. And this it would be by about Sunday, heading into Monday. And you see here by Tuesday, Wednesday, more or less just continues to hit that shear and falls apart. Yes, eventually, if nothing changes in the atmosphere, maybe some cluster of storms and showers could head out to South Florida,
Sure,
associated with it. But like we're like, is it going to be much different than the storms we've had out here the last few days? Really,
not really.
Yeah,
It potentially adding additional moisture into the atmosphere, meaning potential heavier rainfall, certainly. But we're talking, as Robert's talking timing, we're talking Wednesday of next week.
Yeah.
So kind of highlighting timing of everything. So we've kind of gone over your cone, the confidence and the tightness of that cone. But why, does it meet its essentially end? It's because of the continual, and this is classic El Nino situation, all of this shear. Essentially, your Caribbean Sea has become the graveyard of tropical systems. Anything that crosses the gates of the Leeward Windward Islands and enters that area is met with a pushback. And so that's, again, another reason there's that confidence that it weakens approaching Puerto Rico Saturday into Sunday. So we'll watch carefully through the weekend, making sure all of this is kind of verifying, but it looks pretty reasonable. And explanation of wind shear kind of goes hand in hand with your explanation of why it was such a decent looking tropical storm in the here and now.
Yeah, because like right now, this is what it looks like. And think of hurricanes, tropical systems like engines, and then that's really what they are. They're taking energy from the ocean, releasing it into the atmosphere, just like an engine that burns gasoline. And basically, you have that inflow, and if you have kind of that vertical stack, it allows the transport of that heat throughout the atmosphere and an exhaust aloft. With little wind shear, this works. Once you get a little bit blowing on it, different winds at different levels, think about how you blow out a birthday cake. I know that's not exact one-to-one, but basically imagine your little birthday candle, the flame's straight up, it's burning bright. But if you blow on it, it's going to lean, and if you blow strong enough, it blows it out. That kind of was what this boils down to here. And as we go ahead into the weekend, yeah, once again, not to beat a dead horse here, but it is going to run into that wind shear, and that's going to cause it to weaken out. Still has warm sea surface temperatures. I mean, that's
sure.
out there.
Yeah, but you got to remember, I think a lot of folks maybe get caught up in the sea surface temperatures as well, and you got to have so many more things. And it's interesting, as big and bad and burly as these tropical systems are, and you think about the damage and destruction they can do. They really are built on a house of balsa wood. I mean, they are very finicky, and especially in their infancy. When they get big and strong, and you're dealing with major hurricanes, now you're talking about things that are moving into atmospheric conditions. They can change the atmosphere. I mean, it can create its own synoptic layout. So that's why forecasting for those, maybe you're looking at different high pressure systems and troughs development, but a lot of times that hurricane can kind of alter those. Now, when you're dealing with a tropical system, a weaker tropical storm, it's got to have a lot on its side, and even just the slightest bit of your wind shear, making it lopsided, flattening it on its western edge, which is what we'll anticipate seeing. You don't get that symmetry, you can't get the spin, and you can't get it exhausting, itself breathing, if you will, and thusly you don't get much development. So confidence in the cone. I like seeing a cone like that. We have seen cones of storms past where the first 3 days, all right, and then that last day 4, day 5, day 6, it just balloons out. We saw this last season. I think about Melissa. I think about Imelda. Those storms that kind of developed in the Bahamas, and it's just like, I don't know. It's like it's playing the Plinko game in the islands, but this one, there's a good deal of confidence.
I think I actually have a little graphic to kind of discuss that confidence in the extended outlook here with the cone. And I'll have to find it and pull it up. I'll get it to you guys here in a minute. Big thing right now, though, as well, and this is, and I'm just going to mention this just because everybody's talking about it. Dolly.
Yeah.
I mean, it is the name. It is the next name.
What odd timing. And there are, and another thing on social media that you get is, why are you naming it that? Why would you name it that right now? Considering the timing, and I think
they think NHC's just
being
naming
cute
stuff in honor of Dolly.
Yeah,
Dolly.
These names have been on the list. It's every 6 years. We've seen this coming. We knew this list was coming 6 years ago.
And it doesn't mean it was put on the list 6 years ago.
Yeah.
It could have been put on the list 30 years ago.
For sure. These cycle through. You think of storms that have or have not been retired. Some names will have changed and get added onto the list. But Dolly's been there, and so it is just a wild coincidence at this time. So no, Hurricane Center is not being cute. It's and going back to elementary things that you probably understand, but again, getting social media questions, you want to address it, because if they have a question, maybe you do too. It isn't the local level. It's not any that decides on a name. It's done at that Hurricane Center level, and these things have been set. So you just kind of tip your cap, think about Dolly Parton, certainly, but luckily this is a storm that it seems like won't do too much.
And just from damage. A perspective, it's good that we don't have a hurricane that is causing damage. But it's because I could see if this was a big bad storm, putting the name on it too, that would be a whole thing. And thankfully, it's just a coincidence that this is the name, and thankfully it is not going to be a big bad hurricane out here.
There you go.
You got that. One other thing, and just addressing this too.
Yeah.
It's been, this is only our fourth name, and Cristobal I don't even think that should have been named, but it was, and that's behind us.
Yeah, right.
But the point is, it is only our fourth named storm of the year.
Right.
And the peak of hurricane season is 12, 13 days away.
Yeah, we're getting there. Yeah, September 10 is your peak. And you kind of when you start seeing the most frequent potential, and we got that setup happening. We've got the African wave train occurring. That we've seen wave after wave after wave. It's just they keep meeting the same brick wall of shear and dry air in many cases too. But we'll continue to watch. The modeling continues to suggest more storms moving off the coast of Africa, and we'll have to kind of continue. Of course, through the remainder of the hurricane season. Those you get later in the hurricane season, then you start focusing your attention on other spots. But generally speaking, now through the month of September, maybe even early October, we've got to have our eyes on the coast of Africa, and that's where Dolly was born. So we'll watch that. But and you can look back towards the coast. You see those lines of storms,
right.
And each one coming through Africa and getting into the Atlantic has that potential of becoming tropical.
All right, well, that's a look at Tropical Storm Dolly. I think we should go to a break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about our local forecast here on the First Coast. Got some space news coming up, especially later on tonight, and even a rocket launch this weekend. And, of course, we'll get you ready for that weekend weather outlook here. So, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in just one moment.
We have new details about a heavy police presence in Jacksonville Beach.
Driver fired gunshots along the interstate today, prompting a police chase.
Breaking overnight, police are investigating an officer-involved shooting.
Breaking news, a major crash on I-95.
Routine controlled burn got out of control. First Coast News was the only station there.
Stream extended coverage on First Coast News Plus. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with First Coast News and First Coast News Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage with First Coast News and First Coast News Plus. The First Coast News Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Have the umbrella in the back seat, the rain jacket ready to go.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
Let's get some breaking news we've been following overnight.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. First Coast News Plus, complete coverage of your local news, weather, and more.
The First Coast
All right, welcome back. Let's talk about Tropical Storm Dolly, of course, but also we're going to be taking a look ahead here at our local forecast on the First Coast. So once again, if you're joining in just now, Tropical Storm Dolly has been named by the National Hurricane Center as of 11 a.m. here Eastern Time. And it is expected to maintain tropical storm intensity for a short period of time before it starts to encounter wind shear and weakens out as it nears the Caribbean. Still going to increase showers across the Greater Antilles over towards Puerto Rico, and maybe eventually some of that moisture eventually could move into South Florida, but it will not be a tropical system by any means at that point. So with that said, moving on to our local forecast here on the First Coast, and one of the big things is, of course, these afternoon showers we are seeing here on the daily. Today, we still have afternoon showers again on our Thursday. Temperatures staying into the 90s. We still got some more preseason football taking on the Bucks on Friday. Saturday, heading into Sunday, afternoon showers and thunderstorms also continuing up out here before the rain does back off a little bit by Monday and the Tuesday. This is all due to a southwesterly inflow across the entire Florida peninsula that is kind of just keeping us on these damp conditions out here. So for the next 12 hours as of here in your early afternoon on the First Coast, we're going to look at increasing showers around 3 to 5, 6, 7 o'clock. Mainly going to stay hugging our coastal areas due to a general southwesterly flow beating up against the sea breeze here. So for some after school activities, you know, kiddos got to stay cool out there. It is going to be hot with heat indices still into the high 90s, near 100 degrees, shy of those heat advisories, which is 108, but still hot. But I think this is going to be combated against that rain possibility through those after-school activities. So there could be some delays. Maybe you got football practice or whatever you're doing out there, going for a nice little run after school. There is that chance of rain in the area. And you can see that here, even with our high-resolution future cast by 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock. And we're towards 7 and 8. Starts to move offshore. And then we get a little bit of a break overnight, which is important, I'll talk about that in a second before showers do start to fire up again. And you can see that general southwesterly flow continuing to kick in. So for today, it is 91 degrees for a high out there. Scattered showers still, again, likely, mainly along the I-95 corridor and out towards our beaches due to that westerly flow just steering up against that sea breeze. Meanwhile, here tonight, we have a lunar eclipse. A partial eclipse is going to be taking place, not a full one, but about 93% of the moon is going to be covered, and it's going to turn that deep red. And it's the last time we're going to have one in 5 years visible here from the first coast. So pretty exciting stuff. So I talked to a professor at the University of North Florida about this eclipse and about a watch party they actually have coming up here as well. So I want to toss over that package, just talking about this upcoming eclipse. Most of us were not lucky enough to see that total solar eclipse earlier this month, but here in Jacksonville on Thursday night, we do have a total lunar eclipse coming up. So I went out to UNF to talk to the professor of astronomy about what we can expect here on the First Coast.
Thursday night at 10:30, the moon is going to start to turn red. And this is because the Earth is actually passing between the moon and the sun. And so we see the shadow of the Earth cast on the moon. This is something that I tell my intro to astronomy students, like, is evidence that we have a spherical Earth. You see the nice curvature of the Earth. But it's a really cool phenomenon to see because the moon turns this like deep blood red.
Now, despite it being a lunar eclipse, we're not going to get that full blood moon.
I think more than 90% of the moon is going to turn that deep shade of red. So what we're doing is the moon is kind of skirting through the Earth's shadow, and it's missing just a little bit of the shadow. So what's great about this lunar eclipse is it's going to be high up in the sky. So anywhere where you don't have lots of trees around, you can see it very easily, pop out in your backyard. Everyone who wants to look at it through a telescope is welcome to come to UNF. We're going to have a viewing party starting around 10 and going until whenever it's over. So 1:30, 2 a.m. in the morning.
And of course, if you get any images of the lunar eclipse, please send it to us at our First Coast News Weather Watchers Facebook page. I'm meteorologist Robert Spett at First Coast News, on your side. Yeah, it's exciting stuff. So once again, yeah, lunar eclipse tonight. Not a full, but pretty close. And if you go out there around midnight, you'll be able to see about 90% of a blood moon. And it's a little bit of science behind it, of course, like you mentioned. You do see the curvature of the Earth on its Earth's shadow as the moon passes through Earth's shadow. The next time we're going to have one here on the First Coast visible is going to be for another 5 years. So we've been fortunate the last few years. We have had a couple, even had a solar eclipse here, a couple years ago, partial one here on the First Coast, but still, it was cool. So yeah, get out there and enjoy it. Meanwhile, back to our weather forecast. Back here on Earth, tomorrow, Friday, 92 degrees. Storms are expected before football, but hopefully most of that does taper off just in time for the first kick out there with the Jags and even some of our high school football that is taking place. In fact, I think I got some graphics here just talking about the game of the week, or at least some of our games out here across the First Coast. There is a chance of rain. Baldwin taking on Reigns there, and University against Trinity. 84 degrees with that chance of showers, but in the area. But if we talk about the game of the week, well, actually, let's pull up the Jags forecast here. First, there's that isolated chance of rainfall, but most of that should taper off just in time for the first kick. If you want to get out there, check out a little bit of a preseason football. And if that's not maybe your speed, you're ready for some local sports. Of course, Ponte Vedra taking on Bishop Kenny. That is our game of the week with the chance of showers there leading up to the game, but hopefully by the time kickoff starts, which is at 7 o'clock, those rain chances are going to start to taper off. So most of the rain should be a little bit earlier in the day, just around lunch to an early dinner time here on the First Coast. But those rain chances are not going anywhere, and that is a little bit of problematic heading into the weekend. There is that chance of showers and thunderstorms, especially into the afternoon and the evening. Throughout Saturday, heading into Sunday, but by Monday, the rain chances do start to back off at least a little bit. But the big thing is we still have this just overall tropical moisture out there. Not an organized tropical system, as we said over and over again, but the tropical moisture will still be in the area, creating that added chance of humidity with afternoon showers and thunderstorms. The good news on Sunday, it is definitely the better day of the weekend. Those rain chances will back off. And Sunday morning, the weather is actually looking pretty good for something else astronomical related. It is the launch of our next great space telescope. Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. Actually, I got another package I'm going to toss to myself talking about this telescope. I'll let me and NASA engineer break it down here for you.
A Falcon Heavy is set to launch from Cape Canaveral on Sunday, carrying the next generation of space telescope. I talked to Mark Melton from NASA about what we can expect.
That's right. I'm the chief engineer for Roman. I started on it in 2008. Yeah, so Roman is really, it's the next great, NASA's great space telescope. It does follow along in the footsteps of Hubble and Webb, but Roman is different in that it was designed to help answer some of the really big questions in science today. How did our universe evolve and to form what it looks like now?
What's interesting is the lens on this telescope is the same size as Hubble, but can see a lot more.
Exactly. Our primary mirror, the main mirror in the telescope, is the same size as Hubble. It's almost 8 feet in diameter, which is massive. But behind that, we put this really big camera. We have 18 individual detectors that have 4,000 by 4,000 pixels. So an HD TV is about 4,000 by 2,000 pixels. So each of our little detectors, which is only a couple of square inches each, provides the same number or twice the number of pixels as a 4K TV, and we have 18 of those. So we have a 300 megapixel camera back there.
And one of the big questions is, what does he think Roman will be remembered for?
With this massive field of view and mapping the sky, we're going to see billions and billions of objects. I heard our scientist one time say, when you look at a billion objects, you're going to find 1,000, 1 in a million kind of things, right? There are things out there that we've never even thought to question. Dark energy is something that was only discovered in the late 90s. No one had any idea that the universe's expansion was accelerating. No one had thought about that. So I think at some point Roman will probably be known for a question that we haven't even asked yet, because we thought we knew how the universe worked, and it's going to, rewrite textbooks.
Now, this launch is scheduled to take off on Sunday morning, and you'll be able to watch it live right here on First Coast News. I'm meteorologist Robert Spetta. Most of us were not.
Yeah, hey, it's exciting. I'm excited. And I will be out there for the launch at 7:26 a.m. at Cape Canaveral, streaming live on Good Morning Jacksonville Sunday morning. So, yeah, you can watch that, and hopefully the weather is shaping up pretty nice. Remember, as I just said right there, if you get any cool images of the launch, even here from the First Coast, you should be able to see it. Make sure you send it to our First Coast News Weather Watchers Facebook page. All right, real quick, let's talk about the forecast for the next 7 days. As we start to wrap up here, scattered showers and thunderstorms here on Thursday, heading into our Friday. Saturday, Sunday, still that chance of rainfall, but it does start to dial back by Sunday, Monday, and into our Tuesday of next week. And once again, if you're just joining in now, maybe you saw the push notification put out there from First Coast News. We do now have Tropical Storm Dolly has been named by the National Hurricane Center. Expected to maintain tropical storm intensity only for like 48 hours before it starts to encounter a significant amount of vertical wind shear and begins to weaken out as it moves into the Caribbean. So yes, it is named Dolly. This was a name that was already expected to be put on, named here. It was been on the list for 6 years. So just a very odd coincidence that it lines up with the passing of Dolly Parton. But Tropical Storm Dolly, tropical storm, expected to maintain this intensity before it weakens out. No impacts on the First Coast or the United States. I am meteorologist Robert Spetta. Thanks for stopping by. And of course, we're going to continue to keep you posted. Check back in for our live update at 4:30 p.m. here with Weather Impact Live.